Hi, my name is Chef Fernando Mojica. I am here with the Columbus State Hospitality Programs. Welcome. We are here in our culinary theater, right? One of the rooms here in the school. We today want to show you a couple cool recipes. This is a technique that it's can be pretty intimidating to some people if you're not familiar with the technique itself. But once you practice this a couple of times, I believe you'll really enjoy making this dish, but it also will be a lot more easier for you and you won't be as intimidated by it, right? So today we're going to do a poached salmon. We're going to top that with a shrimp mousseline. And then we are going to serve that with some bits. So we're going to walk you through this video on couple of things that I want to point out. You're going to need a food processor for this to make the mousseline. You're going to need a pastry bag, and then you're going to need a spatula. If you don't have a pastry bag, you can certainly use a gallon Ziploc bag that you can cut the corner on. If you don't have access to that, like I said, a pastry spatula or even a spoon, it will be fine. And then if you don't have an electrical food processor, a hand crank processor will work just as well. You just need to work a little faster with that, but that's all you need. We're going to start by making the mousseline and getting the salmon cooking. And then we're going to go into the dish. So what we're going to need is salmon. This is going to make two dishes, so 2 pieces of salmon here. This is your 6-ounce salmon. We have 1 pound of shrimp for the mousseline, 1 pound of shrimp. You can usually use scallops as well. You can use the trimming of the, if you were to have a longer piece of salmon, you can use the trimming of that. So 1 pound of seafood. You need 1 cup of heavy cream, and then we need 1 egg white for the mousseline. For poaching that, we're gonna need a shallot, which is thinly sliced. We need a few leaves of fresh tarragon, a few sprigs of fresh thyme, a little bit of white wine, and 1 garlic. And then for the component of the dish to accompany or dish, we have a couple of bits. We poach these ahead of time. Cook them in water, cook them until they're tender, and then we just peel them and cut those. We have about 1 ounce of herbs or so, chopped parsley and chopped chives. We're gonna use some of these for the mousseline, but a total of about 1 ounce of each. We have just about a tablespoon of butter and about a tablespoon of chopped shallots on that. So we're gonna also use maybe about 1 ounce of this wine from the beginning for the bait. So we'll walk you through the video and I hope you enjoy it. We are going to begin by taking our shrimp. We're going to put this into our food processor. A couple of things you want to notice is you're making a mousseline, which a mousseline is a force meat, an emulsion, right? You're making an emulsion of the protein in the shrimp with the egg and the cream. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that all your components are as cold as possible, right? Your shrimp is cold, your cream is cold, the egg white is cold. But you also, we take it a step further, and we actually kept these in the freezer for a few hours to make sure that the processor itself was nice. The blade and the cup of the processor were nice and cold, because one of the things with the force meats and the emulsions is the heat will, the normal friction of it will start to warm it up and has a possibility of breaking your emulsion. So we're gonna put this in the rubber coop and process it until you have the consistency of bubble gum. All right, so this is starting to get there. Again, we're looking for the consistency of bubble gum, what is nice and gluey. We're gonna add our egg white in here, and we're going to continue to process these. You wanna run this again until that egg white and the protein starts to go. So we're gonna, So we're gonna transfer this into a bowl, and we're gonna slowly add a little bit of the herbs that we have here. Now, at this point, you don't run the risk of over whipping these or over processing it, but you do run, like I said earlier, you do run the risk of it getting warm on you. So at this point you want to work a little faster than you probably might think you need to, just to keep it nice and cold. Because you don't want to have that heat break your emulsion. So that a little salt we're gonna put in here, about a teaspoon or so, and then a little bit of white pepper in here as well, just about a teaspoon or so, just to season it. So we're gonna transfer this into a pastry bag, and then we're gonna go ahead and start finishing up the dish. All right, so now we're ready to garnish our salmon and go ahead and put these, stop. All right, so we are ready. We have everything that we need here for the first part of our dish. We have, again, these were 6 ounce skinless, boneless salmon. We went ahead, we got a whole portion of salmon, a whole side of salmon, we portioned it down, removed the skin, seasoned it with a little salt and a little white pepper. Again, one of the other videos where we deal with seafood, we explain why we use white pepper as opposed to black pepper. So in case you want to refer to those, we're going to take, as you can see here, the natural shape of the salmon is one side is going to be taller than the other, right? So, and that's from where the belly is, right? So this part that's a little thinner, this is where the belly and all of that, the guts and so on is. So when you remove it, that's gonna be, so we're gonna start on that side. The idea here is that you wanna make your piece of protein the same thickness all the way around. So you're not gonna actually cover all of it. You could if you wanted to. I have my spatula here. I have a little bit of cold water here. This is gonna help me, again, the protein is gluey and so on, so this is gonna help me make these and smooth it out a little bit. We're gonna start there, and then with this side right here is just gonna be a little thinner. So we'll do that on both sides. So we're gonna take, like I said, a little bit of water and just to smooth it out. You don't want to introduce a lot of water, right? You don't. This is just enough so that the back of the spatula is not sticking to the mousseline right here. So just a little bit, just to smooth it out, and then we'll do the same with the other. But again, the idea is that you want to have this side that has a thinner side of salmon have a little bit more mousse, so that everything is the same thickness. So we'll do the same with this, with the other piece, and then we'll go ahead and start shallow poaching it. Our salmon here ready to go. We're going to transfer this into a pan, saute pan here, and then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients here. You want to give these a little bit of room. All these are just aromatics. Obviously the wine will be the poaching liquid. You want to add enough wine that covers just about halfway up on these, and then the rest of it is just going to be aromatics. This is just going to kind of help infuse a little bit of flavor into the salmon and the rest of the mousseline here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cover these with a lid, 275 degrees in a conventional oven, or 250 degrees in a convection oven. So you want to cook this until it reaches an internal temperature of 135 degrees. And the reason we cover this is because you don't want the direct heat of the oven to heat the mousseline. You want very little brown color on that mousseline. And again, the direct heat will break the mousseline force meat that we made. So we'll go ahead and cook this. It's going to take about 10 minutes or so. And then while that's going, we'll go ahead and start our components for this. All right, so at this point we have our salmon in the oven. We're gonna go ahead and start our component for our dish to go with this. So again, we talk about the bits. We cooked this earlier, cooled them down, right? So now we're just gonna go ahead and put this in our pan. You don't want this to be hot. Normally you want this to be hot. You want to keep the vibrant color on them, so you don't want to have a lot of color on these. You don't want to sear these. You just want to warm them up. We're gonna take that. We're gonna sprinkle our shallots right here. We're gonna go ahead and put our butter, and so we're actually going to throw this in the oven. This can go right into the same oven that you have your fish on, and a little bit of wine here. And so we're just going to let the wine and the butter create a little bit of a steaming effect. So this is going to cook in the oven for just about 8 minutes or so until they're warmed through. They might take a little bit less, but you just want to warm them up through. And then after that, we're going to toss them with a little salt, a little pepper, and a little bit of chives. At this point, this came out of the oven. You can see how it cooks on top of the salmon. That's gonna stay, and we're just gonna toss some of that herbs here, and that's it, right? This is all you need for the dish. We do happen to have on our pot over here, we happen to have a little bit of butter sauce that we did in one of our other videos, just a beurre blanc sauce that we did in one of our other videos, that we're just gonna serve that with our dish today. And again, Thank you for joining us. We hope that you've been enjoying these videos. We hope that you're learning some cool techniques. Again, one of the goals for today was that we can show you some techniques that maybe some people find intimidating, like a mousseline, and you can feel comfortable enough to do them at home and give them a try. So again, hope to see you soon, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rayleigh Harper with the School of Hospitality Management and Culinary Arts at Columbus State Community College. We hope you're enjoying our new YouTube channel and would love for you to subscribe to see more videos and chef demonstrations. Also, please visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Lastly, you can visit cscc.edu, the hospitality department page, if you would like to learn more information about our programs and our school.